Welcome back to this extra extended episode of SportsVibe. If you're still listening here, with Arnav and Rupayan. So yeah, I mean, we covered a lot of football, which is always great. College football and the NFL definitely really exciting, this week as always. But another thing that's been going on that's been exciting is playoff baseball. I mean, there's really nothing quite like it. We got the World Series coming up, the Yankees taking on the Dodgers, and the stardom of Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge and Juan Soto and the big markets. It's really going to be a fun one. Last year we saw Texas, the Rangers taking out defeating the Diamondbacks in the matchup of small market teams, and this year we get like the exact opposite. The two biggest brands in baseball going at it. Before we get to that, why don't we just recap what's been a chaotic postseason, and then we'll dive into the ALCS and NLCS. Yes, it's been quite the interesting ride. Obviously, the Astros got eliminated early, by the Tigers. And then the Orioles got eliminated early by the Royals. And the Braves got eliminated early by the Padres, and a lot of early eliminations. And then the Mets went on this miraculous OMG run or whatever. They've been using all sorts of gimmicks with Grimace and the OMG stuff, and they took it all the way to defeating the Phillies in the NLCS, even though the Phillies won the division. Um, I know you're like a Phillies fan, so that's a bit unfortunate. And meanwhile, the Yankees got things going. They cruise past. Well, they didn't really cruise past. The Royals gave them a good series, but the Yankees were able to put them away. Eventually, it took a while. Aaron Judge eventually heated up. And then the Padres were unable to defeat the Dodgers, although they took him to 5 games. That's also kind of unfortunate, I guess, for a lot of baseball fans. And then the Cleveland Guardians edged out the Detroit Tigers 3-2 to push it to extend their run to the ALCS. So then in the championship series, the Mets taking on the Dodgers. The luck kind of finally ran out for the Mets, unfortunately. But the Dodgers, blanked them in the opening game, and then they kind of the Mets bounced back, and they even tied it at 2-2. But then I guess that was all she wrote, because the Dodgers were able to win the last game in Queens, and then the Mets were able to stay alive. The Dodgers went up 3-1. The Mets stayed alive in Queens, and then sent it back to LA, for Game 6. But then it was the Dodgers knocking off the Mets 10-5. And then in the ALCS, the Guardians fell to the Yankees. The Yankees kind of had their bats rolling in that series, I would say. So yeah, I mean, the game three was certainly exciting after the Yankees went two in the Bronx. Game three was exciting, a battle of home runs, and the Guardians 2 runs down in the ninth, able to tie it and then win it in extras. That was a ridiculous home run there, in extra innings, by Cleveland. So, they call the guy on Big Christmas. So I thought that was certainly a big moment. And then they're trying to tie up the series, but the Yankees able to overpower them. I think that was the game where Aaron Judge, and Juan Soto hit a home run in that one. That was a big one because it gave the Yankees 3-1 lead in a pivotal game that could have gone either way. And then Yankees bullpen's been pretty good too. And then the Yankees in game five, um they're able to get Juan Soto with the 3-run home run to put the Guardians to bed. But it's a couple 4-1 wins for the Yankees in the playoffs, and it really feels like this is definitely like the year for them to get to 28 wins or championships, because they've kind of been struggling the last few years. But this year with Soto and Judge and Stanton's been really good. He's had a lot of the home runs. I guess they call him like playoff G. So you know, but the Dodgers are like, I think, equally as talented. Maybe you can even argue more talented. I mean, they have a really good pitching lineup. They have really good bats. They have like Mookie Betts. They have Shohei Ohtani, um, who's their DH, but he's just been a ridiculous he's a ridiculous two-way player. So I mean, he's been pitching this year too, right? Or has he not? Because I remember he was injured in the beginning, right? So he was only hitting, but I don't know if he's still pitching or not. But he's just been electrifying. I think he had like 30 home runs and 30
For
stolen.
Shohei, no,
Yeah. He's not been pitching, right? Yeah, but I think he had like 30
he's
home
not
runs.
pitching. No,
Yeah, he's not pitching. He can pitch,
yeah,
but not.
he's injured. Yeah.
Yeah, it's armed. Yeah, he
He'll
got
start pitching again next year.
right. Yeah, yeah. That's right. But yeah, like I said, yeah. He has 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases, more than that. But I remember him crossing that milestone. But like I said, New York, LA, the glitz and
Yeah.
the glamour and the star power, and I think that's a pretty good like summation of the championship series. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on like the NLCS or the ALCS before we kind of like dive into the World Series and start making predictions?
I kind of stopped watching the MLB playoffs. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like after my Phillies went down to the OMG Mets, whatever. Great. I
Yeah,
mean, I was so happy that the Braves lost to the Padres, and
yeah,
then
that was nice
I,
too.
I I was kind of rooting for like basically any non-New York or LA team, or like also the Astros because I don't like
Right.
them at
Yeah.
all. But yeah, I mean, I would have been fine with like literally any other matchup, and then every other team lost. The number three seed for both AL and NL both they couldn't even make it out of the wild card, so it didn't even mean anything to win a division because the teams that didn't win a division ended up trumping you anyways. So
True.
like yeah, I mean I guess I don't know. Some teams were more hungry. I guess I don't. It's
Yeah.
just
It's play
yeah,
like the
it
Braves
is
so
what
many
it
years they'd lose to the Phillies in the playoffs. It's like the same thing
is.
kind of
Yeah.
happened this year. So like yeah,
Yeah, I'm kind of sad that my Phillies are going backwards.
I
Like,
know.
is losing in the World Series, then losing in the NLCS, now out in the NLDS. I'm already
Right.
hearing fans saying like, "Oh, that means next year we're gonna lose in the wild card." Like,
They had a
yeah,
better
like
regular season. That's yeah, I agree. Yeah.
who thought winning more games, having a higher seeding, and a bye in from the wild card, making it to the divisional series means that we'd lose or like get out of the playoffs earlier. Come on, like we did better as a wild card in the last two series.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's weird. Yeah, baseball's like a weird, unpredictable sport. Like it really is because
Yeah,
yeah, you win the division and then you could just be out in the first round. Like there's no heads or tails. Like
yeah,
last season, like it was the Diamondbacks and the Rangers making it out of like I think they were like in the wild card. They weren't like the division winners or something, but they ended up winning and getting to
right.
the championship. So it's bizarre. But then this year, like it's kind of yeah. I mean, I'd say in the NL, it's been a little bit more surprising, but at the end of the day, I think that two of the best teams in the regular season did make it to the championship, and I think from the beginning the Yankees have had their eyes on kind of the prize, and then the Dodgers too. Like they've been one of the best teams in the regular
Right.
season, like year after year, but they've also stumbled in the playoffs in recent years, except for 2020 when they won the World Series in the shortened year. But yeah, I mean, this is like a battle of the heavyweights. Like it's like, I don't really know like who's gonna win or not because I feel like the Yankees probably have more firepower, like with like Stanton and Judge and their guys and Soto. But then like that's my from reading stuff online, like I see the Yankees, they have a better like I think they have a better like starting rotation. They have better hitters, but then the Dodgers are deeper. They have like a deeper lineup, and then they have a better bullpen too, even though the Yankees have a pretty solid one. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say because the Yankees, I don't know. I mean, they're good, but like they're scoring kind of like six, seven, 8 runs a game, and the Dodgers like they're kind of like hot and cold. Like sometimes they'll score like 10, and sometimes they might not. They might score less than that. I don't know. I feel like it could go either way, but I feel like the Dodgers have been playing pretty consistently well, and the Yankees also have though. So it's just like the Yankees might have like a better like they have like some really good pitching going on over there, but then they also have like hitting, which comes out once in a while. And the Dodgers kind of have more consistent offense, so I think that's probably why the Dodgers are favored, like
Yeah,
just by a little bit. But I could really see it going either way. I expect it to be like a long series where teams kind of trade the wins, and then
mm,
I'd like to be optimistic and say like the Yankees win in like 6 or 7 because like I'm a Yankees fan, and if you want to just pick the Dodgers, so we have like a little bit of a back and forth. But I really think it could go like either way, like because I think these teams are very evenly matched. They both have star power in hitting. They both have really good starting pitching. They have good bullpens. Like both teams are like truly like the best in the sport. But like I mean, I'm trying to be optimistic and say the Yankees, but the Dodgers can have me a little bit nervous because they've been scoring like 10 runs in the series like many times. Like against the Mets, they've put up runs in most of these games pretty consistently. So that's kind of what has me like a little bit worried about that.
right. I mean, What you were saying about the Dodgers having a more consistent offense is true. I mean, like I see more of their hitters hitting above 200, and then like the main Yankees guys are like, I mean, the top three are performing, and everybody else is kind of downhill, at least in the
Yeah.
postseason. And I'm only looking at postseason stats for now because that's what really matters. Is it doesn't really matter what they did in the regular season. I mean, it does a little bit, but then anything can happen once there's a this latest blank like wiped clean, it's blank or something, and like you get to restart your season all over again once you're in the playoffs. All bets are off. Anything can happen, so that's why I feel like what you were saying about I think the Yankees, like if they they're almost relying on their stars, so like, it's not like some unheralded guy is gonna come out of nowhere and make this happen. It wasn't like the Mets, or like the Alonso was struggling for so long and then hit that one home run, and then everything kind of
Right.
changed for them, and then the Lindor grand slam against the Phillies. So yeah, I feel like I mean, I don't know, like it's tough to talk about the Dodgers like starting rotation now, because I mean they're in the playoffs, they're kind of just not they're going haywire. Like it's their bullpen that's kind of like bailing them out. Or at least that's what I'm looking at seeing. So maybe they'll just have to continue getting that solid offense, get guys on base, and then score the hold the like scoring down from the opposite end with the bullpen, because I mean, I don't know, like it's possible that it, I don't know, it's possible for either team to win, but I feel like the Dodgers are like they're able to be more consistent, at least in especially from the Mets series.
Yeah, like that's kind of the vibe I'm getting too, because like the Dodgers, like yeah, like pitching wise and hitting wise, like even against like a Mets team who's like like upset some teams and stuff, they were like very like consistently just like good. Like they even beat off like the Padres who were like kind of scrappy, and they
Right.
got some wins and they were able to hold them off 3-2. Kind of beat off the Padres, hang on there, and then against the Mets, they yeah, I mean like they opened 9-0, a 9-0 shutout win against the Mets. So like on both sides of the ball, or that's that's a football term, but pitching and hitting, like they've, and even in their loss they scored 3 runs and they lost 7-3, and then the next one right back to 8-0, and then 10-2, and then
Yeah.
12-6. There's offense like to be 10-5. There's offense to be found even in the losses, and of course in the wins they're scoring consistently 10 runs a game. I mean that's in most of them that's really hard to do, and the Mets have kind of been up and down, but I mean they shut out the Mets twice. They've, what I mean. But on I'm more
Hmm.
nervous about on offense. Like the Mets, I mean the Dodgers, like they've been scoring consistently 8-10 runs most of these games, with a couple
Hmm.
of exceptions. The Yankees are kind of like in the 5 run range. They're like 5-6. They have like one big home run shot by like Soto or Judge or something, and then like the rest of the game is like a defensive slugfest. But like which has kind of been working out like well, because against like the Guardians and against some of the other teams. So against the Dodgers, they're gonna need the defense to be, and even their wins haven't been like blowouts either. They've been like 6-3,
Right.
7-5 loss, 8-6, 5-2. Like they haven't been like completely dominant. They've just been better. But against the Dodgers are gonna try to score 10 runs a game, or at least probably seven, and the Yankees are, they're if they allow that, they're gonna need to score like 12. And like I don't know, like the Yankees are kind of winning slugfest, but if the Dodgers step it up and start scoring like 7 runs, are the Yankees gonna be able to even like 8 runs? Are the Yankees gonna be able to catch up? Because the Dodgers, I feel like, are gonna bring their hitting, and I don't know, then it could become a shootout. Like can the Yankees score consistently 8 runs? Like I don't know, they haven't really shown it yet. So that's kind of where the issue is. I feel like the Dodgers are producing the better offense right now, and the Yankees are kind of like they have like one big run in the entire game, and then that's kind of like it, and then the rest of it's just pitching. So it's gonna be interesting. Can they limit the Dodgers enough
Yeah.
where they can
I
play those kinds of games, or are they gonna allow the Dodgers to score that much, but they're gonna be able to rise up like with Aaron Judge and score more runs? Like it's gonna be interesting, because I know the Dodgers are gonna score, or at least that's what I think. Are the Yankees gonna be able to limit that? And if they're not, are the Yankees gonna be able to score more than them and outbeat them in a shootout? That's kind of like, I guess those are my two questions
see.
here.
Yeah, the thing I'll say here that is that the Yankees at least have something going for them in where like they ended their both of their series early with only one loss
True.
each time. I mean, like with the Dodgers having to go 3-2 against the Padres, 4-2 against the Mets. It's like a double-edged sword. Like
Yeah,
on the one hand, it's like they might be more worn out facing so many games. On the other hand, it's like at least they're getting more experience, and then they'll keep that momentum going because they're just playing every day. So like maybe that break or like having like a time off before games, it might like affect the momentum, I guess. I mean, so I don't know. Like it shouldn't be that way, but it just things just work out sometimes, you know. But like I'll say the Dodgers, like whereas their hitters are more consistent throughout like 1 to 9, the Yankees pitchers are
that's
doing
true too.
as
Yeah.
just as consistent. So that's it's like a the immovable object meets an what was it? Something force,
Unstoppable force, yeah. Yeah, because their
unstoppable force.
rotation
So
for the Yankees has
yeah,
been like lights out, like Jared Cole and Carlos Rodon and all their guys. Yeah, you're right. The Yankees pitching's been better. They've hardly allowed that many runs to
exactly.
begin with, and then the Dodgers hitting's been really good. So it's like, yeah, who's gonna win? Like the better pitching or the better hitting? Like that's where like they could come, cancel each other out a little bit, and so suddenly like the good pitching, the good hitting, and can the Yankees on the other side hit as well as the Dodgers can? And like they
Yeah,
potentially
exactly.
can because they have the star power to do so, and they probably have more stars too. So
Yeah.
they potentially can. So we'll have to see. I think baseball's a game where one team could win like 8-0 and then the next it could flip. But I think this series is going to be very competitive. It's each game's going to probably come down to a few runs.
Mhm.
And I think we're going to get a longer series, 6-7 potentially. And I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to go with the Yankees because, like, why not? And also, they are that good. If it's a 50-50, I'm going to go with my team like every time. But I could easily see like the Dodgers like winning as well, although that's not really what I want to happen. But I could, I'd go with the Yankees. I could definitely see the Dodgers taking it as well, the way they've been playing this postseason.
Yeah, I mean, on the flip side, like how whereas we were talking about the which one, what each team is doing consistently. If you have the Dodgers starting pitching not doing as well, and the Yankee stars are at least dominating. Maybe the rest of the team isn't. One good game, one like hit somewhere, one home run, that can change the game. Like that's the Dodgers' weakness. They'll have to keep up their consistency, or each game's gonna turn into a shootout because they're gonna have to be relying on their bullpen because their starters can stay in the game. This is where like Shohei Ohtani pitching would have been great for them, but that's
Yeah,
obviously
true,
not an
true.
option this year at least. And I mean, the battle of the number ones. I mean, like it is what it is. I can't root for either team. I'd have to go with the Dodgers if I had to, but I mean to me it's the evil empire bowl. The old evil empire, like the team that
Versus the
actually
new.
has the nickname evil empire against the new up and coming one because they just keep buying everybody.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
I mean,
agree.
everyone wants to go to Los Angeles or New York. That's why I just don't like either team. Like, come on, come to Philadelphia. I
Yeah.
mean, to be fair, we did get some guys at least, so yeah.
Yeah, that's true. They do have like Bryce Harper and some guys, but yeah, and, like now the
Yeah.
Yankees are like the underdogs, so like that's like, not really, but like I mean in this
Mm.
series they are, but yeah, both teams
But
kind
yeah,
of
exactly.
they have the the $300 million payroll and that's yeah probably the deeper lineup. I think the Yankees have the better rotation, the better hitters, they have the better star power, but the Dodgers have
Mm.
the deeper lineup, like their whole lineup can pitch and hit, which is going to be tough. But yeah, I think the Yankees have higher end talent at the top. The Dodgers have a whole roster of high end talent, which is going to be tough. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I could see it going either way. Like I said, yeah, the Moneyball thing, like it's the opposite of Moneyball because I saw someone put the Juan Soto home run to the Moneyball theme, and I was like, no, like that's not really what that is. Like like it's not what Moneyball is. It's nice, but like it's kind of the exact opposite of Moneyball. But it is what it is. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
the opposite of last year's World
Well,
Series. Like last year,
I mean, I
we
guess
saw
in a
like
way it is money ball. It's
yeah,
like
yeah, you're
throwing money at
I saw that on Twitter too. It's like, yeah, they're throwing money at the players. So it's a different kind of money ball. But like, yeah, they are playing money ball in a way. It's just not that one. But hey, I mean, like last year we got like the Rangers taking on the Diamondbacks in like a small market. So this year, if they want to do it up and have the Yankees Dodgers, like, I'm sure it's gonna bring in a lot of views and like, yeah, I mean, like you said, like evil empires, like, yeah, that's the thing. I don't really like the Dodgers for that reason too, because they're always like in the mix. And then, but it's still better than the Astros, I feel like. But because everyone has a gripe with them and the cheating. But in terms of the Yankees
Yeah.
and Dodgers, the old evil empire who hasn't, they haven't been in a World Series in quite some time. They haven't won one.
Mm.
I think they haven't been in one and won one since 2009. And then the Dodgers, meanwhile, are the new evil empire. But let's see how this one plays out.
You
Like I
had
said,
to say
hopefully.
'09. You had to say '09.
Sorry, I forgot
You
that was
beat
the
my
Phillies. I
Phillies.
was just
Thank you.
thinking last one, like which one was it, but yeah. Anyway, like I said, hopefully, this one replaces that one as the last one. But for the Yankees fans out there, yeah, number 28. Let's see if it's on the books this year or not. I hate to lose to like the one team that's like a little bit more talented because the Yankees do have like a ton of talent in their own right.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, we'll have to see. It's going to be a really good series. I think I can go either way. But yeah, other than that, I mean, that pretty much sums it up for this, for baseball, for football. I guess just to touch on the some of the other things that are going on in sports before we
Before you
call it.
do, before you
What?
do, I just want to say, before you do,
Yeah, go
I just
ahead.
want to say, like, what are your thoughts on Juan Soto? Like, do you think you guys can retain him after the season?
Um, I hope so. I mean, I think so. Like this, well, the Yankees, they have like we were just talking about the Moneyball stuff, but like I mean, they have the money to pay him, I'm sure. Like like are they going to be
Yeah.
able to make a deal? Like I think so. I mean, it's the Yankees, right? Like, but I think what's more important at this point is like if they win the World Series or even if they, they've made it, right? Like that should have some sort of an effect, right? Like on him. Like what more could he want? Like
Mm.
a lot of money and like a championship team. Like I feel like it might be good if they win the World Series just to like so he'll, they'll be like, yeah, we can win the championship here, but then he might want to walk too, like because he already won one. I don't know. I know the Mets are interested and they're also gonna like throw a lot of money
Ooh.
at him to say to use that term again. But like it's just like, oh, like I don't know. I hope we don't lose him. I hope not. But if this year didn't show Juan Soto what being a Yankee's all about, like because he's hit home runs, crowd loves him, the fans love him, the team has had success and and they can pay him a lot of money. Like, what more could you possibly want, right? Like that's my thoughts. So if they can go out there and win it all, then it's gonna be hard for him to want to leave, right? That's my view. And if he ends
Yeah.
up getting outbid by like the Mets or some, if we get outbid by the Mets, then so be it. But like, or
What
like
if he
some
ends
other
up on the
team or the
Dodgers?
Dodgers or like someone else. But I don't know. I think the Yankees are going to be
God,
in a
like
good
that would
position
be.
because they've had success. So we'll see though.
Yeah. Yeah. I
What do you
hope he doesn't
think?
go to the Dodgers. Like that would just
Oh
like
God.
freaking
The Yankees to the
like
Dodgers would be
that
like,
would be like that. Then they would become the evil empire. I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
how many players can you keep buying? Like you can they can keep like MLB can keep making these rules about luxury tax penalties, competitive tax balance, whatever. It doesn't matter. The Dodgers is just gonna pay those penalties and keep buying players.
That's true. Yeah, they will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I
It's
don't
like,
know. I'm just griping here. I just
yeah,
want something to go wrong for those teams.
yeah. I don't
I just
know.
want a non-New Yorker LA market to win.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I hope like he doesn't end up going to like the Mets or something. 'Cause then,
Yeah.
like if we just like get outbid by them, but like Steve Cohen's like willing to spend, so we'll see what happens. I don't know. Hopefully winning the World Series makes it a bit easier. Like that kind of sells them on it.
Right.
That plus like money. Maybe he'll be willing to take a little less in that case, but who knows? I think the Mets have shown
Yeah.
him. I mean, the Yankees have shown him everything that they can for money to the
Yeah.
success and everything else in between where he should want to be a Yankee, but
Yeah.
that's his decision after the season. But he's been great. Like the Yankees should also like be open to paying him because he's hit the big runs in that series.
Yeah.
Like in game four, like he hit the big runs to get them over the line. And I think even game three, he also hit one that got them like or game three they lost, but I think he hit one there. But then game four he hit or game four he hit I think the 2 run shot, and then game five he hit like the 3 run shot or something like that. So in game five the 3 run home run that basically iced the series, and then game four he also had a home run too. So I mean he's been hitting the big home runs, and he's really done what he needed to for the Yankees. So the Yankees, if they have to pay him, then I hope they do, so we don't lose him. But that's my thoughts on it. I think the Yankees have shown him enough off besides the money. I think there's been enough for him to want to stay. But who knows? You know what I mean? It's one of those
Yeah.
things. But yeah. Or well, like I
Does he
said,
end up getting more money than Shohei Ohtani? Do
yeah,
you think
maybe.
that happened?
Mm, potentially. I don't know. That'd be kind of crazy
Contracts
though.
are
But
just going crazy.
yeah, Shohei Ohtani got a lot of
Contracts are
money.
going crazy, like all over sports. You have billionaires in baseball, or like almost basically, and then like even NFL, like you have $50 million QBs getting injured and stuff.
I
Like,
know, yeah. More than $700 million. Like, and then he deferred it for a whole decade, which is like that's
yeah,
such a
yeah,
smart idea too. Like, and he's gonna be set for life. Like, but
yeah.
but hey, yeah. It's like a better version of like the vanilla thing. Like it's just like, I don't know, he just like restructured that so beautifully. Like I guess now he's not making a ton, but he's still making enough, and then he's just gonna be set. Like anyway, that's enough on the contract stuff. We still got the World Series to play, but yeah, the throwaway section, right? It's not really a throwaway section, it's just like whatever else is going on in sports before we sign off here. But yeah, Frozen Frenzy in the NHL last night. Hockey is back. That was a fun one. I mean, all 32 games or all 32 teams in action. They like 20 minutes apart or something like that, the start time. So certainly a busy day around the hockey league, the National Hockey League. Devils have been off to a hot start actually. 11 points. They were like leading the standings, so now they lost two. I see, and now the Rangers are kind of trying to pick up where they left off last year. So they've been on a roll. So now they're tied up with the Devils at the top of the Metro. Hopefully, this is the season where the Devils make the playoffs. Last season they had big hopes, but pretty much everyone on the roster got injured at one point or the other. It just wasn't great. They have Markstrom now. I mean the Panthers, looking to repeat as Cup champs. They lead the Atlantic, and then the West. It's very early. Like the Flames like lead in the Pacific, and the Jets lead in the Central. A lot of Canada out there, and the Oilers, kind of a slow start. I mean, they're only 5 points, but they coming off the epic, 3-0 comeback that failed to Florida quite the series. But yeah, hockey's back. The other sport that's back is basketball, and that one I'm a bit more of a fan of
Yeah.
than even hockey. But yeah, I mean, last night was a Frozen Frenzy is also the start of the NBA season. Ring night in Boston, um, where the Celtics knocked off the New York Knicks. But yeah, I mean, it was a dominating win by Boston, 132 to 109. They were just on cruise control the entire night. I mean, Jason Tatum at 37, Jaylen Brown at 23, Derek White at 24. It's like they got better from last year. Maybe their shooting everything was just going in. The Knicks have a new look lineup as well. They have Karl and Anthony Towns who had 12 in his debut. They had
Mhm.
Mikal Bridges coming over from Brooklyn. He had 16, even though he struggled a bit. Then Miles McBride had a big performance. Of course, they have Jalen Brunson. But yeah, new look lineup with Bridges and Towns, and they still fell short. But people are saying this is going to be the Eastern Conference Finals matchup potentially. I know the Sixers of Paul George, they're going to be right in the mix this year with Embiid. But I mean, if this is any indication, the Celtics are still the team to beat in the NBA. But I think Celtics just had a ridiculously good shooting performance. It's not going to be indicative of the whole season, but they are going to be really good. But this was just like, and this was just like everything was going in for Boston. I mean, they tied the NBA record in 3-pointers made with 29, and there was still like 10 minutes left in the game. I mean, they could have made more if they wanted to, but they pulled out their starters. And I was watching the game with my friends last night, and I was hoping that Boston would end up making, even though I don't like, I hate Celtics and everything, like I feel like the entire NBA does probably, at least the entire East does, and then Lakers fans. But since they're already winning and since they already had the record, I really wanted to see them break it, but they just kept missing. All of a sudden, it was just like painful, but like it was just, I guess they kind of knew that there was pressure on them before they were just making threes like in the game, and then it was just the pressure was on them to make the three, so they were thinking about it, and they put in backup, so they weren't able to get it. Is what it is. They still tied it. It was still cool. a cool night for sure. Yeah, the banner 18 in the
Yeah,
rafters
and
at
then
TD Garden. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for
yeah,
that one. And then the second game, Lakers taking on the Timberwolves. 110 to 103 win there for Los
father and son playing
Angeles.
together.
What?
Father and son playing together.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, LeBron James and LeBron James Jr., Bronny James checking in for the first time as teammates in a regular season game. I believe they already did preseason game, but I guess this one is
Yeah.
this is where it counts. But it was so cool to see that even though Bronny James didn't score, he had a rebound in 3 minutes. I think he missed a three, I think, or something like that. But he's still, I guess, finding his rhythm. He's like he's obviously not as good as his dad, and that obviously was a big factor in it. But I mean, I think he could be a decent player in his own right. So hopefully he grows into that. Obviously it's a different level of the NBA, but LeBron James was like really good though. He had 16 points. He had some monster dunks like last night. He's still attacking the rim. Anthony Davis really stepping up big time for the Lakers with 36 points and 16 rebounds. Just a big AD game. Last season he was healthy for the whole year, and getting off to a good start. Dalton Connect, a little bit of a quieter night with 5 points. He's also a really good draft pick for the Lakers. Like one of the best players from last year's college basketball, and really good shooter and scorer in his own right. So I'm excited to see him as well. And then yeah, Hachimura at 18. The Timberwolves, one of the teams that was a really exciting team last year. They went to the Western Conference Finals before losing to Dallas. For one, but Anthony Edwards just, continuing to bring the excitement, obviously. 27 points, for leading the way. Julius Randle joining them from the Knicks in that trade where DiVincenzo also, Dante DiVincenzo, 10 is in his Wolves regular season debut, 16 for Julius Randle, 13 for Gobert, and yeah, obviously Towns now in New York. So but yeah, New Look Wolves lineup. But I think this Wolves team could still be good. And then Naz Reid, obviously really good backup center there in his own right with 12. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the NBA. Opening night for the rest of the teams is today. The Bucks taking on the Sixers. The Nets taking on the Hawks, and kind of the rest of the league starting to get it going as well. But I guess before we sign off here for final time today, do you have any predictions on on the NBA finals and a championship winner?
No, that's too early. I
It's
mean,
too
I have
far,
to
but
see
just
some
like
games. I
preseason.
can't even like. Yeah, exactly. Like at least let one game. Like we've only seen two games so far, and there are so many more teams left who still have to play. So I can't make any predictions now. But I will say the shout out to the New Zealand women's cricket team. The World Cup just ended for them. T20 World Cup, I think. And we finally have a non-Australia or England winner. And neither of those teams even made it to the finals. It was a New Zealand South Africa final. So I mean, shout out to us to South Africa also for making it that far. It just sucks that they keep losing every time, whether it's a men's team or a women's team.
True, yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, definitely a different matchup in the Women's Cricket World Cup as well. But yeah, that's about gonna do it here. I think we covered everything we wanted to in 3 episodes: college football, NFL, and MLB, and a little bit of NHL and NBA and cricket and everything. So, next week I guess back to a more normal episode. I'll have the usual college football, NFL, and the World Series analysis for the next time. But in the meantime, this has been Arnav Sarkar and Rupayan Samantha. And as always, have a good week. Enjoy the sports, and we'll see you next time.